And Refuge Committee will be called to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Murphy.
Here.
Alderman Kotar.
Here.
Alderwoman Martin.
Here.
Alderwoman Boyd. Alderman Bosley. Alderwoman Middlebrook. Chairman Boyd.
Present.
5 present, you have quorum.
Okay. We're going to excuse the Alderwoman from the 2nd Ward. The Alderwoman from the 27th is on her way. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes for February the 25th.
I move that we approve the minutes from the meeting on February 25th, 2020.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Murphy.
Aye.
Alderman Kotar.
Aye.
Alderwoman Martin.
Aye.
Alderwoman Boyd. Alderman Bosley.
Aye.
Alderwoman Middlebrook. Chairman Boyd.
Aye.
5 aye votes.
We approved the minutes for 25th. I'll entertain a motion on the minutes for February 28th.
Oh, well, I move that we approve the minutes from February 28th, 2020.
Second. Previous roll.
Moving to second, no objection to previous roll. Minutes are approved for February 28th. First board bill up before us is Board Bill 115, sponsored by Alderman Moore, which is the final board bill he has submitted. I will handle his board bill. It's a simple alley vacation. Do we have anybody here to speak on it? Okay. So this is the alley vacation where True Grace Baptist Church is vacating the alley between Cote Brill, Grand, Alderman, and Spring for the purpose of new construction. Any questions on Board Bill 115? Alderwoman Murphy.
No questions.
Alderman Kotar.
No, just for my own curiosity, where is True Grace Baptist Church generally on this map?
That would be Cote Brill. And have grass is kind of tiny. Let's see here.
It's right here.
She found it?
Oh, I didn't find the church, I just found
We found the
the
street.
intersection
Just point me to that.
right here.
Oh, okay. Oh, got it. All right. I couldn't find Code Brilliant. All right. Nothing further.
Okay.
It's right here, Chairman.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right there. Okay. Alderwoman Martin.
I want to ask how Alderman Moore, and I know he's unfortunately not here to answer this, but got this done when I've had my own struggles with the alley vacations. Did someone petition, do you know? I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I just wondered if someone petitioned this or if they signed off on the insurance and all the steps that my ward has to go through to vacate an alley.
That's a good question. I would think that they went through the proper channels of the street department and navigated that maze to accomplish what they did. That would be my thought. We don't have anybody from the street department to really ask that question. I see Zach is here, but I don't know if
That's
Zach
not
knows
it,
anything
yeah.
specific about this particular board bill and the steps that they took to get it vacated. So I don't really want to put them on the spot.
That's fine, okay, all right, thank you.
Okay. Alderman Bosley.
No questions.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion on Board Bill 115.
I move that we pass Board Bill 115 with a due pass recommendation.
Second.
It's been moved and second.
Previous row.
Hearing no objection, previous roll, Board Bill 115 comes out of committee with a due pass recommendation. Next Board Bill,
That's crazy.
Davis is not here. Okay, we see Alderwoman Hubbard is here, so why don't we take up Board Bill 220, sponsored by Alderwoman Clark Hubbard.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Board Bill 220 is an alley vacation. It's the 15-foot wide north-south alley beginning at Pershing and extending northwardly to point bordering the wide east side, west side alley at Waterman, Clara, Pershing, and de Bolivar. I have been in continuous contact and conversation with the developers, Kilimanjaro, and also Mills Pershing LLC. I also have with me today Mr. Robert Duffy, who is an engineer with Big Sur Construction, who is general contractor for Kilimanjaro. And just to answer a question that I heard from my colleague, Alderwoman Martin, we worked with Streets Department, and her name is, I want to make sure I get it right, Ms. Jennifer Waters Jones is who you will work with in Streets Department on alley vacations.
Yeah, that's who I've worked with, or not worked with at all, because she won't respond to my emails.
Okay. Did you want,
So I'm asking for favorable consideration and a do pass recommendation, but if you have any questions, myself or Mr. Robert Duffy are here to answer them. Thank you.
okay, let's go down. Alderwoman Murphy.
What is the purpose of the alley vacate? You know, is it to consolidate some properties, or?
You asked, yes, it is to consolidate some property for an upcoming development that I'm very excited about in the ward at the northeast corner of the Bolivar and Pershing. It's going to be new construction, and this is the first step in consolidating the land parcels over there so that they can start.
And it won't interfere with like refuge or anything? There's nothing there right now? Or, you know, like with refuge doing its job and stuff like that?
Absolutely not.
Okay, thank you.
They go through, and that is part of the process, that they go through all that. And an added bonus is that it's going to get some updates and infrastructure over there as a result of this. So we're excited in the area about that as well.
Oh, very good. Congratulations.
Alderman Coulter.
No questions.
Alderwoman Martin.
No questions.
Thank you.
Alderwoman Pam Boyd.
Good morning.
Alderman Bosley.
No questions.
Okay, this is Pershing, the Bolivar. Maybe I'm not coordinated. The Busey Bank is on that corner,
It's
right?
north on the Bolivar, and it's on the west side of the Bolivar. So do you remember the old Twain's restaurant?
Right.
That's exactly where. So
Okay.
just think the Twain's, there's a small alley there, and then there's another piece of land back there. They have acquired both of those.
Got it. What kind of development is it?
It's going to be mixed use, residential and commercial.
Okay. Did the developer want to speak to the bill?
The developer did not come, but his general contractor is here. He can speak to it.
He's welcome to speak to it as well, and then we'll get him to sign in. Go ahead.
My name's Robert Duffy with Big Sur Construction. It's going to be a 150-unit apartment building with 3,000 to 5,000 square feet of retail on the first floor, depending on the tenant. And with, it'll have 164 parking spots in its parking garage. And we are dedicating a new alley upon, completion of the project, where all the easements, or the utilities are getting relocated to. And I've been in discussion with the street department, and they would rather take the alley at the end of the project, where I pave a new concrete alley at, per their specifications, and they inspect it upon completion. And then it gets, dedicated as the right-of-way, because too much damage would happen if I, during construction, if I built the alley now, and then we
Gotcha, yeah.
ran trucks over it for, the 2 years it's going to be under construction. But we will maintain access either where the existing alley is or where the new alley is going to go during the entire construction process.
Okay. Let's see if any committee members have any questions. Alderwoman Murphy,
No, thank you.
Alderman Coulter,
No questions.
Alderwoman Martin,
No questions.
Alderwoman Pam Boyd,
No questions.
Alderman Bosley, Alderman Bosley, I'm sorry.
No questions.
How tall would this building be?
It's going to be 1 story below grade and 6 stories above. And so I guess it's going to be about 75 feet tall.
Okay. Thank you. No further questions. Alderwoman Hubbard, if I remember correctly, across the street from there, they're building a big high-rise, multi-million-dollar.
They are.
That's a hot location, huh?
It is.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion on Board Bill 220.
I move that we pass Board Bill 220, I would do pass recommendation.
Then
Request for
moved in
previous
second.
roll.
Hearing no objection to previous roll, Board Bill.
Objection.
Oh, sorry.
Objection.
New member.
Let's get our Alderwoman Pam Boyd on the roll. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Murphy. Alderman Kotar.
Aye.
Alderwoman Martin.
Aye.
Alderwoman Boyd.
Aye.
Alderman Bosley.
Aye.
Alderwoman Middlebrook. Chairman Boyd.
Aye.
6 aye votes.
Okay. Board Bill 220 comes out of committee with due pass recommendation.
Thank you.
Next board bill before us is Board Bill 198, sponsored by Alderwoman Sharon Tyus.
Good morning, Mr. Chair.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Board Bill 198 is a board bill that establishes rules and regulations for vendors within Kings Highway East, Kings Highway West, Penrose, and Mark Twain neighborhoods. Actually, most of this board bill is already passed, but because I've been a opponent of vending for a long time, but it was passed, but we used to do it on the board when I was the 20th Ward Alderperson, so we did it under wards. So I'm coming back now because with the change of things so that it's easier to follow, I am now doing anything like this by neighborhoods, which makes more sense because it's zoning and you can follow it. If a ward number changes, then you don't know what the law is anymore. And that's what happened with me with the 20th Ward. So Kingsway East, Kingsway West, and Penrose were my previous neighborhoods. So they have the law already in effect. I now represent Mark Twain neighborhood, and Alderwoman Boyd from the 27th Ward represents like 5 blocks from Claxton over to, I forget what the end of the neighborhood, but she gave me permission to put Mark Twain, that part of her Mark Twain neighborhood in this bill. And the things that changed is that right now we have a law that does not allow you to post signs on LRA buildings. We passed that way back in the 90s. This also prevents vending on LRA-owned property. A lot of that happens in my neighborhoods. People find LRA property, set up junk vending. I get calls all the time for it. People don't really like it. And so when I went to research about it, we had something about signs, but not about vending on LRA property. The other thing that it really does prevent or prohibit is Kings Highway, actually the part of Kings Highway that's between Martin Luther King and West Florissant. Everybody calls it North Kings Highway. It is not. It is Kings Highway Memorial Boulevard. It was built and it used to have big, large trees, and then it had signs on it in memorandum to soldiers who had died. I'm working on putting that back together. We had occasion for a mayor who came and cut all our trees down in the median with BPS, and so they're finally getting big enough now again that we will be trying to put that back, and we're even talking to the congressman about making that something that's federal or something like that, because it was built as Memorial Boulevard, and also it's supposed to be, I'm putting the flag back up there, and I'm going to spend some money and put a light on it and keep the flag up there. So that's what it should look like. So it prohibits all the people in the median, and especially if you go to Kings Highway and Natural Bridge, it is a mess there. People have gotten hit, kids have gotten hit. They're in the streets, they're not supposed to be in it. I have been getting complaints about that. We had it cleaned up before they did gerrymandering and redistrict me, and then while I was gone, everybody came back, and they literally have worn the grass out right there on all the corners of, well, the 2 median corners. So we're actually requesting that the street department post that there's no vending. The other thing we address in this board bill is the setting up with the free phones, because they set up every place. So, so that is also addressed and prohibited in this bill. And every time I talk to the people about this, they always tell me about what a great job they're doing and what they're doing. And then when I ask them where they live, they always live someplace else. And I go to where they live. They never set that stuff up where they live. And it looks junky, and it doesn't make any sense. And the people that I know that have free phones, they have 2 and 3 phones. The system is not set up right. I do not have a problem with people getting free phones. I would even look for a building where they can set up and do it out of a building. But when they set up out in the middle of a street or on a vacant lot, or something like that, that becomes very junky looking, and it's not appropriate, which is most of my neighborhood except for Union and Natural Bridge is very much residential. Oh, you get to West Florissant, And so it's not appropriate, and the people don't like it. And I just want to go back a minute to talk about the meeting in Kings Highway. Down in the Mark Twain area, we had a young man, why we really need to push this. Last summer, he set up and started barbecuing and and popcorn and everything. So, and if you know, Alderman, you own property down there, the people all called and was like, Miss Tyus, this man is barbecuing in the median. It's enough that we got barbecuing on the front porch. So this is an attempt to stop all of that. I actually, if you go back to vending, just a little history, because none of you all were here. We had vending Bill, Phyllis Young had done it. Then Bill McCullen and Greg, what's his name? He's died now, of the Post-Dispatch, came and did this hit job on vending. So everybody passed the vending and got rid of it. I came back 2 months later, introduced the same vending bill, which is the original vending bill. We passed it right back, okay, because nobody really wanted, but everybody kind of gave in to pressure from Greg Freeman was his name, and Bill McCullen, but we passed it right back in a few months. And it's really not fair to, I don't have sit-down restaurants, but I do have a lot of fast food restaurants up and down Natural Bridge, and it's not fair for somebody to be able to set a truck right in front of the people who have to pay either a mortgage or rent or whatever, and all the overhead costs that goes with having a building, and then have somebody in a truck sit up right next to them.
That's it? All right, let's see if we have any questions. Alderman Murphy.
No questions, just a comment. I said I agree, because I had that happen briefly in my ward, where somebody set up a table, and all of a sudden they were selling something, and it is, it's offsetting, and it's not fair, like you said, to the brick and mortar places that are there that are paying this, all the proper taxes and everything like that. So I concur. Thank you for doing this.
I want to say it's only for my neighborhoods. I tried, Alderman Cote knows that I had tried to, and I will try again, when I was on streets, I tried to put them, because we have so many things. I don't like us having separate things like this, so I tried to put all of the different vending bills under one bill. And I may try again, because I have it mostly. And all I did is I pulled everybody's, and just so when the police, or if you call them, if you have it under one bill, it's a lot easier than trying to look to this, that, or the other. So I may try again.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you.
Alderman Cote.
Thank you, Chairman. Alderwoman, yeah, I know, we've certainly talked about vending bills in the past, and if you are interested in a more comprehensive bill, I'd be willing to work with you on that. My one request would be, downtown, we have various vending districts involving the stadiums, who can sell wares
And that was-
outside.
right.
And we're going to have another one
Right.
relating to the soccer stadium.
And so in mine, I created a vending district still in the parks, okay? We're not trying to keep people from selling popcorn in the parks and things like that. And the original bill, which I still have that I had worked on, it respected everything that was already there when you came that had been under Alderwoman Young. So it didn't change anything. I
Okay.
just brought it under one umbrella.
Yeah, I think even since your bill, I think we've created another one for the riverfront.
Right.
Yeah, a number of rules and regulations. All right, thank you. No objection. I'll certainly vote for this.
Alderwoman Martin.
I love this. I think that this may be a possibility for some of my issues on South Broadway, so thank you for bringing this forward.
Alderwoman Pam Boyd.
I support this 210%. It could come into mind, I don't have a problem. And one reason why I'm just leery, I don't think people understand, and me being from the health field, I don't think people understand the danger
Yes.
that we are encouraging upon residents, because these people have not been inspected by the health department. And so I'm just always fearful of somebody getting food poisoning. And so they're not handling the food properly, and it looks tacky, because the free phones, and all I can see, then we'll have the rugs, and then it'll just keep going, and so I support it. I don't see a problem with it.
Alderman Bosley.
Yeah, I agree with everybody else's sentiments. I've been wondering kind of how to do some things in my ward. So you always bring some interesting legislation that I can piggyback off of so I really appreciate the legislation. Thank you. Definitely in support.
Only question I had, I think you mentioned it about the LRA piece, because that's trespassing anyway.
I know,
So,
but the police let it go. So sometimes you need something
More concrete.
more express.
okay.
I know, yeah, because by the time you get LRA, whatever, if you just have a law that says they cannot vend, We have a law that says you can't do the signs. Irene and I passed it years ago, that you can't put signs on LRA property, so it's just
What kind of signs?
any kind.
It doesn't matter, they'll do it.
No,
They
in
do
fact.
it anyway.
Well, but I make them take them down, and in fact, if you went into what kind of signs, you would be violating the law. But if you just say no signs, then you are within the Supreme Court law.
Let me ask you, I'm gonna give you a scenario and see if it's addressed in your bill.
Yes.
So a person has a private lot, and they're leasing a corner so that people can sell phones or barbecue or whatever. Does it address that?
Yes, because that's vending. And you have to get a vending license. In my bill, you have to get a license. They have to post, on the license, they have to say where there's no vending. So that's vending, okay? And in fact, most of our, this is kind of long-winded, because I know history. So our laws prohibit people from doing that except for 2 or 3 days. They can, if they have a building, they can set that stuff outside their business on 2 or 3 days, a month or something like that. I can't remember the exact right now. But when you just set up on a lot, that's vending.
Okay. So if they went to the license collector's office to get a license to do it, they should reject it.
They should tell them that this is not legal in this area.
Okay.
Right. And in fact, what I'm working on with the license collector is being able to give them a list of where it's legal. Because what happens is people come and say, I have a license, and I'm like, it's not legal here. And that's why I also want it posted where I have the biggest problem, which is Kings Highway and Natural Bridge. I want it posted so they won't be confused.
The city put a sign up that says no
Vending,
vending.
correct.
Right, that'd be neat, yeah.
So you have one that, you're gonna have a post one.
Okay,
at
I'm gonna
Union?
recognize the Alderwoman from the 27th Ward.
Cause he know I'm old and I won't remember.
Speak in the mic, by the way.
So Union and Natural Bridge too?
Yes.
Okay, cause I
Yes.
know that's an
I'm
area you
probably
got a
also going
problem.
to do Kings Highway and Martin Luther King, too.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. I'm sorry, Chair.
So last question, how does this address the bum pop truck?
The bum pop truck, they won't be able to come, but we don't have, people saying, I want the bum pop truck. See, I think that we still think we're in the Mr. Softy days. We're not. In fact,
Those were the
what
good old days, weren't they?
Yes, but you could go back to the 50s and the 60s, but we're in a time that why it really became important for me even to stop them is because they were selling other things but bomb pops. So they were selling drugs out of these trucks, okay, because that was a good way to come in and out of the neighborhood. So they will not be allowed either.
Okay. Someone asked what was a bum pop truck. That's the truck where they sell ice cream and, popsicles.
I don't know what that is either. I'm not that old.
Right, right.
When I grew up, we just called it the bum pop truck. And bum pop was kind of like the big brand of the popsicle. That
There's
you
a
would
big
buy.
giant popsicle,
Yeah,
kind of
look like a
round.
rocket.
Right.
Right.
See, all of us are telling how old we
See,
are.
we are. And Mr. Softy was a separate entity.
Right.
Just so you know.
Well, see, I use Mr.
Take
Softy.
the
We
truck.
didn't have bump pop trucks in Decatur, but we had Mr. Softy.
We had Mr. Softy when I was coming up.
All right, thank you, Alderwoman Tyus. I'll entertain a motion on Board Bill 198.
Pass Board Bill 198 out with a due pass recommendation.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we pass Board Bill 198 with a due pass recommendation. No objection to previous roll. Board Bill 198 comes out of committee with due pass recommendation.
Thank you.
Welcome. Next board bill before us is Board Bill 206, sponsored by Alderman Todd. Can you give them
Copy of the bill?
He's got one, looks like.
I have like 5 copies of everything.
This proposed ordinance director of streets to permanently close, barricade, or otherwise impede the flow of traffic in the 4300 block of Finney Avenue by blocking said traffic flow at the west curb line of Pendleton Avenue at the intersection of Finney Avenue and Pendleton. The proposed bill impact of the community is unknown by this time. We need the traffic blocked. Well, it was requested. We only have one resident living on that block, and they've already approved. But also, we have Rankin Technical College, and what happens is we have a lot of computers and a lot of other things. It's a big old window. By blocking off this street, since there are no residents in this, it will keep people from, it's a big glass plate window to keep people from breaking the windows and going in and taking their equipment. Basically, that's the purpose of blocking off that street.
Okay, Alderwoman Murphy, any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Alderman Kotar,
No questions.
Alderwoman Martin,
No questions.
Alderwoman Pam Boyd,
No question.
Alderman Bosley. No questions. So Rankin Tech is basically requesting that this be blocked off.
Yes, I met with the sergeant who is in Rankin Tech, requested it be blocked off because there have been a lot of theft of different equipment, and this equipment would, there's a big open glass window, a couple of them about as big as this built room, and if it shows it will be showing the equipment that is in their computers and other things, and if we block it off, people won't be able to drive through, hopefully, and see it so that they can break in and take it.
But they can't drive through, but they can still drive down the street and turn around, right?
No, they won't be able to drive through. They can turn around, but they won't be able to go into the street and see the equipment.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute.
It's on Pelleton. They will be able to drive through. There are no houses.
Right.
It will only be blocking off Rankin Technical College. So it will be.
But someone lives on that block, right? You said one person lives on the block?
Right.
So there has to be a way to drive onto
The
the
person themselves can drive through.
I mean, it's going to be a public street, so I can drive through too, right?
No, it's, in fact, the street is already blocked off.
So both ends are going to be blocked off?
In fact, I said it was no one lives on that part of the street on Pendleton.
Okay.
Person lives on the other side, but that won't be blocked off.
Okay.
The east side will not be blocked off. Only the west side will be blocked off.
Okay, I have no further questions. I'll entertain a motion on Board Bill 206.
I move that we adopt Board Bill 206 with a due pass recommendation.
Second?
Request for previous roll.
Second, no objection to previous roll. Board Bill 206 comes out of committee with due pass recommendation. Next board bill before us is Board Bill 211, sponsored by Alderman Todd. Okay. You need that one too?
Yes.
There you go. Here you go. Oh.
It should be in that, look, his bill, I thought I gave them both.
This proposed ordinance directs the Director of Streets to permanently close barricade on the 4400 block of West Bell Place by blocking off the flow of traffic at the east curb line of North Till Avenue at the intersection of 4400 block of West Bell Place on North Till Avenue. And the reason for blocking the street are people have been speeding up and down the street. And so I asked the residents to get, I had them to get petitions, and so the residents on that street do want the street blocked off. And people can't go down Finney, the next street, to get to New State, to Taylor. So, and also it's 2 blocks north, south of Delmar, so they can turn and go down Delmar too off of Newstead. So they will have a way to, it's about 3 or 4 blocks north of Page. And so they will be able to continue on driving, but it will stop people from speeding up and down the street.
Okay. Alderman Murphy, any questions on Board Bill 211?
They'll still have access to their homes and,
Yes, they will have access to their homes
Okay.
because they will be able to come off for Boyle.
okay. Yeah, I've seen that where it says like local traffic only, and that kind of helps, make it hard for those of us that want to cut through, but, okay, yeah, thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Bill.
Alderman Kotor.
No question.
Alderwoman Martin.
No question.
Alderwoman Pam Boyd.
Alderman Todd, I'm kind of confused. So you want to block the street and you said it would impede the flow of traffic. So if you block it, you're trying to slow the traffic coming through there?
Just West Bell, coming through that one residential area. But
Okay,
the next street on the other side, which is Finney, they can go through that street, they can go through Cook, which is the next street, and Page, which is the main thoroughfare. And so it's only blocking that one street.
so the people that live there, they can get on there?
They can get to their home, yes.
Okay, okay.
Off of Boyle, yes.
Oh, off of Boyle, okay, that's what I was trying to picture it in my mind, and I was like, I was confused. Okay, I got it, thank you.
Alderman Bosley? No questions. Okay, I'll entertain a motion on Board Bill 211.
I move that we adopt Board Bill 211 with a due pass recommendation.
Second.
Request for
Then moved and
previous roll.
second. Hearing no objection, previous roll. Board Bill 211 comes out of committee with due pass recommendation. Next board bill before us is Board Bill 179, sponsored by Alderwoman Marlene Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and the committee. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You're very welcome.
This man didn't sign this.
Because I got a street that's two-way, and they wanted one-way, and they want to speed.
Are you ready, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Now you're doing
You're
other
up.
stuff. Board Bill 179 is a proposed honorary street name.
No, this is a
Oh, wait
four-way
a minute,
stop
wait a minute,
sign.
I'm looking at the wrong one. Board Bill 179 is requesting a four-way stop for North Garrison Avenue and Locust. We currently have a two-way stop there, but in the last 3 to 5 years, we've had an increase of new businesses there. We have a very active restaurant on the corner. There's a new, larger facility being developed there. The Veterans Administration Building is there where the VA residents live, and it's just a lot of traffic there, and people are just speeding through, and we'd really like to have some safety there.
Okay. That's the 19th Ward. Alderwoman Murphy.
No questions.
Alderman Kotar.
No questions.
Alderman Martin.
No questions.
Alderman Pam Boyd. Alderman Bosley. No questions. Okay, I'll entertain a motion on Board Bill 179.
I move that we adopt Board Bill 179 with due pass recommendation.
Second in previous roll.
Been moved and second, no objection to previous roll. Board Bill 179 comes out of committee with a due pass recommendation. Alderwoman Davis, we have Board Bill 241. Are there any petitions for this
Well,
board bill?
let me share with you the dilemma I've been dealing with for the last
Please.
week. And even as late as yesterday, I had 4 emails come to me without the signatures, but saying that they had signed it. I think they're confused. Did either of them have the signature? Okay, ask Tracy to look at the email and call Carl directly and see if he can get it here right now. We have been trying to get the signatures because all of the property there, and I listed the addresses so that you could be secure in that, going down Cardinal, the streets that it would cross, Franklin and Delmar and Samuel Shepherd. The only one property that we have that is owned by any other entity other than the people who we are proposing to name this street in honor of is one LRA. But they own everything else. I am referring to Lucas Heights Apartments. If you are familiar, it is a large development there between Compton and Leffingwell. At Compton is the Metropolitan Village Senior Building. That's a tall building there at the corner of Compton and Delmar. And we have 532 other units that it covers in that whole spectrum there. So there's no other ownership there to really get any signatures from but them. But the president, for whatever reason, he just didn't understand, just sign this. We printed it out for him and everything. He keeps sending it back and saying that I've signed it and here it is. But what I would ask you to do, and I shall share with you why I'm going to ask this, and I know it is not the rule or the norm, but for those of you who knew Bill Pearson, and I know that Beth Murphy knew him from the school district, he was one of the people who had the original concept for this development back in 1978. It actually came to the city for its approval in 1980, was approved in 1981, started the actual construction in 1982. Think about this. This is a Black-owned and operated property development that houses everything from police officers, teachers, senior citizens, low income, 532 units. Find it someplace else. And it derived from the church, Washington AME. And Mr. Pearson grew up right there on the 2900 block of Delmar. So this would really be an honor to him. But what I wanted to ask is if I can get this signature and have it for you in the morning attached to this bill. Even if I have to go to somebody's house, I will do that. If you could please pass it. Because he's ill, and I wanted to get this done. I don't want to wait another 2 or 3 months.
Okay, what I'm willing to do is, I'll entertain a motion on the bill, but if the bill passes out of committee, that you put it on an informal calendar if we do not have the signatures. If you get the signatures, email the committee, and so that everybody sees there are signatures attached, so that we will be in compliance.
I can definitely do that. I'm willing to do that.
All righty. Hearing that, believing that, I'll entertain a motion on Board Bill 241.
I make a motion, we pass Board Bill 241 out of committee with a do pass recommendation.
Second, previous roll.
It's been moved and second, no objection to previous rule. Board Bill 241 comes out of committee with a do pass recommendation.
Thank you very much, Chairman and committee.
Welcome.
Okay, the last board bill is Board Bill 243, sponsored by myself. Board Bill 243 is an honorary street naming in honor of our former colleague, Alderman Sam Moore. People that have been down here a long time know that Alderman Moore was the king of honorary street naming. I think he probably has more honorary street names in his ward than anybody, but he believed in them. He often said, we don't know who Labadee is, and Cote Brill, and so on and so forth. And over time, we, put restrictions, on, how we do honorary street namings, and want to make sure that honorary street namings are really done in the honor of somebody who has really done noteworthy things for our community, as we just heard from Alderwoman Davis. Most people that know me know I am not a big fan of honorary street namings unless you actually have done something substantial and noteworthy. And I can't think of a better opportunity to salute and honor somebody that I really feel have done a lot for the city of St. Louis, especially his neighborhood. So it's certainly with great pleasure and great honor that I introduce Board Bill 243 in honor of Alderman Sam Moore, and ask for the committee's most favorable consideration. And I will take questions. Alderman Murphy.
Is it too late to co-sponsor
Absolutely
this
not.
bill? Would you please put my name on it then? Thank you.
Alderman Kotar.
No questions.
Alderman Martin.
No questions.
Alderwoman Pam Boyd.
No questions. Could you put me as a co-sponsor?
Alderman Bosley. Okay, I'll entertain a motion on Board Bill 243.
I move that we pass Board Bill 243 out with due pass recommendation.
Second, previous roll.
Been moved and second, no objection to previous vote. Board Bill 243 comes out of committee with due pass recommendation.
Sharita, will you add me as a co-sponsor? Both of us, sorry.
That fulfills our duty on Streets, Refuge, and Traffic today. Committee is adjourned.
Thank you.